What's up, people? So the Juggernaut update has happened, and the Asteroid M event will be coming in about 20 days, and you will need tier 5 mutants or Brotherhood characters in order to get them. You will have to get up to here in order to get that character, and 2 days from now, Juggernaut event is going to be starting. You're going to need 5 Mystic characters in order to get this, so that kind of is annoying. But let's take a look at the abilities here. We'll start with Juggernaut since he's coming out first. Juggernaut has 77 speed, so he's very slow. Overwhelming blow. Has his move here does pure damage, can't be blocked. And then at the end it will always gain you an ability point. Now the other thing that this move does is it gains you 1 charge every time you use it, up to a maximum of 4 charges, which works into his ultimate here and his passive. So his special here is taunt. So the Magneto's team finally has a taunter. Gain taunt. If Magneto is an ally, you gain taunt for 2 turns instead of 1. He will also gain defense up. He will also gain immunity. He will gain death proof. He will gain regenerate, and eventually he'll gain defense up 2 turns if you get it to the max level here for purples. And if you take it all the way up to the special tier 4 ability mats, you'll gain regenerate for 2 turns. So that's a nice taunt. Gains you a lot of stuff. Crushing charge here. This attacks primary and adjacent targets for 100% damage. Adjacent targets is important on this team. Damage is increased by 40% per charge. So as you can see, the charges that you gain off the basic ability there gains you a lot of damage here, and it can't be blocked. And all this does is it gains more and more damage and more damage per charge. Special here is attack primary and adjacent targets for 100% damage is increased by 40% per charge. Attack primary, yep, can't be dodged, blah blah blah, and it gains that. Yeah, I just read that, sorry. So his passive is I'm the Juggernaut. On turn, gain charge up to a maximum of 4 charges. So every turn he's going to be getting himself a charge anyways. On spawn, you clear all but 1 stack of charged. If any charge were cleared, fill your speed bar by 40%. Alright, so that's really good. If you don't understand why this is like this, in raids, this is good. Because you'll clear back down to only 1 charge, so you start with a 1. But you'll be speeding yourself up almost like over the top of speed bar, so you'll be able to taunt right away. And that is really good if you're going node to node. If Magneto is an ally when an enemy attacks, this character fills speed bar by 5%. I don't really like this part of it because if you're taunting, you don't want to be fast. He also gains 5% resistance, and it also keeps speeding him up. He gains 500% resistance to stuns, so that's good, and 5% health. And at the very end, he gains 20% more speed bar every time somebody punches if Magneto's on your ally. I don't know if I like that, but he is really slow. So that's the Juggernaut. Let's look at the Pyro. Flamethrower here just does damage, and then it will always apply bleeds at level 5. It will apply bleeds to everybody that he hits, primary and adjacent, so that's good. This Pyrotechnics special here he's got. Attacks target for 60% damage, apply bleed to targets, clear 1 positive effect from targets. Then he will eventually apply 2 bleeds to each target, and it also apply or clear 2 positive effects each turn. But if Magneto is your ally, he'll clear all positive effects. This is really crushing to shield teams like the Nick Fury team. they really heavily rely on their buffs, and this just crushes them. And then if you actually put the tier 4 mats in, he will apply bleed to each target for 2 turns, so that's pretty nice also. His ultimate here is just a damage move, also applies disruption. Disruption, from what I've read, I believe to stop the ability to give people buffs. So if you have this move on you, if you have this debuff on you, you won't be able to get a buff on your character there. But that's not 100%, that's what I read. This level 5 here, 20% damage to primary and adjacent targets. If Magneto is an ally, apply. Each target has bleed prolonged by 1. So that's kind of like a whatever. So level 7 applied disrupted for 2 turns. So it's pretty crazy here on this heavily disrupted thing. This bleed prolonged is like nice, but it's alright. His passive gains extra focus. When Pyro is attacked, he gets faster. If Magneto is an ally, when an enemy drops below 50% health, apply health block. This is really nice. So once somebody is gonna die, they're going to die on this against this team. And this guy just gets faster and faster. Alright, so let's look at the last guy here. Magneto himself. Magnetic Force here. Attack primary target for 90% damage, plus 10% piercing, 30% chance to chain to one additional target for 80% damage, plus 10 charging, or plus 10 piercing, sorry. So eventually, this will always chain, and it will chain to 1 to 2 targets. And it will gain 10, 20. So it'll gain 20% piercing. So this move is going to do a lot of damage. Always at least chain to 1 person, up to 2 people, and it's going to do some piercing damage, so that's pretty nice. Polarized Beam. This special applies Disrupted again. Plus it removes positive effect, and it's unavoidable. And it has piercing, and it applies slow. Then it removes 2 positives. Then it applies Disruptive for 2 turns. Then it applies slow for 2 turns. And then if you max it all the way out, it removes all positives. So that's pretty nuts. Magnetic Vortex is his ultimate move here. Pull all enemies up to 2 spaces toward the primary target. Then attack primary and adjacent targets for 110% damage and apply blind. Can't be on. It's unavoidable. Can't be countered. This move is pretty nuts. You're basically stealing their turn, sucking them up so all of your adjacent attacks, so like all of his moves here that attack, he's only attacks primary, it looks like, but like pretty much his whole other team attacks adjacent, primary and adjacent, so this allows them to all hit everybody within this cluster that it gives them. And it applies blind, and all that you get is more and more damage per thing, which is all you really need to get, because at base level this move is already retarded strong. Let's look at his passive here. Brotherhood of Mutants. On spawn, fill 15% speed bar. Fill 15% speed bar per Brotherhood ally. So this means that he will have 100% speed bar when he spawns, if you have a full Brotherhood team. On enemy crit, 30% chance to apply speed up to self and all Brotherhood characters. So this is pretty nuts of a passive. Gain 10% focus. Brotherhood allies gain 10% focus. So they're heavy. If they debuff you, you're probably getting debuffed. Now we're also getting plus 5% max health. Brotherhood allies gain an additional plus 5% health. Plus 10% focus. Plus 5% health. So this gives you a 40% chance instead of the 30. So this is plus 20% focus. Plus 20% focus for Brotherhood allies. Plus 5% health for Brotherhood allies. And plus 5% health for yourself. So that'd be interesting to see how much that's if it stacks there. It doesn't look like it is, so it looks like it's just going to be 5% health, 20%, 20%. But sometimes this toolbar doesn't really work right, so you have to max it out yourself to figure it out. So basically, Magneto's team here includes Sabretooth also, and he does nothing but punch people and kill tanks, so that's alright. And then we have Mystique up here, who does a lot of buff manipulations, steals people's buffs. But what this team does not have is a healer, so you have to get in and get out. That makes this team not amazing for raids. Basically what this team does, it's like a blitzkrieg team. It gets in, does a shit ton of damage, kills as much shit as possible, and then gets the hell out. Because it can't stay in there very long, otherwise you're going to just be whittled down to death. Kind of unfortunate. You can replace somebody on this team. One, Magneto's always got to be there. Juggernaut probably has to always be there because he's their tank. Pyro seems like a really good character for this team, and Mystique is also really nice. Sabretooth is the odd man out. I don't think you need him on this team. He doesn't do enough for this team. I think you're going to want to replace him with an actual healer if you go raid with this team. But everything else in the game, well, also in story mode, you're probably going to want to bring a healer instead of Sabretooth, which will nerf the Brotherhood of Mutant passive from Magneto. He won't go first like right off the bat that way. But you kind of need a healer. So another problem with it is they're global characters, and if you want to know, I struggle with this. If you look for global characters, Scarlet Witch is not a real healer. So Shield Operative and Shield Medic are basically your only options for healing. So it's not really the best thing in the world here. Luckily that they actually put the Juggernaut on the global team, because knowing that Foxnex is kind of stupid on some of these tags here, it wouldn't have surprised me if they didn't put him on global and just kept him on Mystic only. That would have been really annoying. But yeah. So hopefully that gives you some idea what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to level up Shield Medic or Operative. Operative is a really good single target healer. That's who I've been leveling up. I've read that that is the best healer to level up, because this gives 3 regeneration. But it also has, she also clears, what does she do? She takes speed bar down and has a 75% chance to clear positive effects. So she's decent and fits in with the thing. Shield Medic here, 20% chance to revive a dead unit and heal 3 most injured. And fighting. So like this is actually good. Like you're gonna have to figure out who you want to go with. You can see like her heal's kind of long, whereas operatives, every other turn you're going to be able to give somebody a bunch of things, and you're going to make them invisible, so while they're hurt they're invisible and probably won't die because they are hidden. So that's why a lot of people are going after her, I believe. Let's look at Magneto. Like he's not unlocked, so unfortunately I can't see what it starts with. I really would like to see if this vortex starts full. In any case, I started this earlier, so I'm gonna have to fuse the earlier part in. So I will see you guys later. What's going on? So I have recorded this slightly earlier, and unfortunately I had my mic muted, so I had to redo this. So I'm gonna be watching the playback of what I was doing here. So basically, we have Jersey's Finest here, because we had a update that took basically 24 hours to do, and it was broken basically for Android users, but iOS users were able to do this. This Jersey event right here was supposed to happen yesterday, even though it wasn't working properly, and now I guess it's in the game right now. So they're giving us some Jersey energy. So there might be some pauses during me talking because I was talking during this video and I don't exactly remember everything that I said. So the video will be going slightly slower than maybe I would want to do. Juggernaut's in the game. He costs 500 power cores per orb, which is expensive. Asteroid M event is in the game. Well, it's showing you that it's going to be in the game in 20 something days. And then if you read on here toward the bottom, you can see Storm is available in Mystic 2-3 campaign node and in Premium Orbs now, which annoys me because I spent a lot of power cores trying to get her to 5 stars for this Magneto event. I didn't realize she was going to be farmable already when a lot of characters aren't farmable. Juggernaut shards can be earned in the Crimson Cruiser Orb. He also has his own campaign coming in a day. And he's also going to be in Strike Raid Beta right after the Deadpool is over on November 11th and 14th. That's kind of weird. Anyways, Pyro is also going to be in here. And he's only going to have 2 blitzes before the Magneto actually comes out. So on November 23rd and 30th, he is going to be in Blitz. Problem with this is you need him to have 5 stars. I don't know how they expect people to get him 5 stars. So, if you don't know this, the first time around when they do Blitz, you are able to get maybe 45 shards of a character, depending on if you finish. Like if you finish in the top 1 to 10% of the people that play this game, you're gonna be able to get probably 45 shards of him. But I believe I read somewhere that they're also giving Pyro specific orbs inside of that Blitz, and therefore every time you get a milestone like tier 1, tier 2, you're supposed to be getting Pyro orbs to help yourself unlock him. I don't know what the percentage is of that, and it doesn't mention it here. But it does mention it on the website. It did anyways, unless they changed their mind. I don't know why it's not here, but whatever. But the second time around, when they do Blitz, usually only the top 1,500 people actually get character orbs for that Blitz. So it's really not amazing. So the second Blitz is basically only going to be the orbs if they put them in there, like they said they were. Sabretooth is only in premium orbs. You're not going to be able to get him. Mystique is still in 5.6. And Wolverine is for some reason still the free-to-play login character. I wish they would put somebody else there and just put Wolverine in a node. So yeah, as you can see there, the strikeforce.com is where you can go to see their dev updates. I have released them here earlier. I have a couple. I've talked over a few of them, but nobody really watched them, so I'm not sure if I'm going to continue doing that or not. Then let's talk about this latest update here. Just telling you everything that's new. They just added the mutants, and they also gave a new save squad function in the game, so you're gonna be able to save pre-existing teams and then use them without having to go in and out of them all the time. These Red Star promotions are coming soon. They said that months ago, or at least a month ago, and they got rid of some bugs and polished some visuals, blah blah blah. I believe they said that they have higher cheat detection in the game now, since there was a pretty big cheat thing. That claim button seems to do nothing. I waited for a little while. I'll try to speed up. So they had a raid issue. Basically, when the iOS app crashed, for some reason, when the update was supposed to be happening, it ended all your raids and it kicked you out, and then Android users couldn't get in. I don't think this is enough compensation for that raid at all, because 2,000 is not even as much as I would have got if our raid would have continued the way it should have continued. I would have got 3,000 orbs or something, I believe. Blitz issue resolved. If I was you, don't spend these blitz things until Pyro comes. They sit in your inbox for 29 days. Just keep them in there. Don't click claim. Storm update, blah blah blah. She's saying Mystic 2-3. This might just arena rewards. Blah 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 that. So yeah, just keep your blitz resolved there. Okay, so here's the issues that happened here. This is what we got in the inbox for the problems that they had with the Android version. So we got 400 power cores, which is pretty nice. Got 300 energy, which is also pretty nice. It's like two level ups, so that costs like 100 power cores basically. Give or take, a little bit. Also got 4,000 gold orbs, so that's 2 gold orb openings, I believe. Got 100 Jersey Shore energy, 15 Nobu shards, and 200 arena credits. I really don't think this is enough, because some people lost out on raid times, but I guess that's all that they're gonna give out. So what